Stepping into fifth dimensional consciousness is embracing fully the divine feminine. If we are to successfully transition into the Aquarian age, we must embrace the teachings of the divine feminine. We are still in a patriarchal age, and we began the patriarchal age around 12,000 years ago with the establishment of the first pharaohs and the first priests of the ancient world, what we know as pre-dynastic Egypt. And pre-dynastic Egypt was a period where there was a massive threshold that humanity had to walk through. We can call it the last ice age, as well as we can call it the Great Flood. That was over many sort of thousands of years, periods of time where humanity experienced the end of a matriarchal cycle and the beginning of a patriarchal cycle that took headway in dynastic Egypt. When we think of our history textbook, First Pharaohs of dynastic Egypt. But we are now just beginning to transition out of a patriarchal age, which will not happen in just one generation or one century. It is something that we will experience for many centuries, as well as for many thousands of years moving forward into our future. And a part of our success as human beings working with this Aquarian age is that we must not only resurrect the teachings of the divine feminine and begin to integrate them into our structure that we know today, our society, economy, ideology, even belief system, the way we relate to ourselves and the way we relate to man and woman and raising children. And the divine feminine is something that has been missing, it's been absent within the patriarchal age. It has been very much cloaked, it has been hidden, it has been kept secret. In many ways it has been sort of removed from leadership. As we are moving forward, we're going to continue to see more of the balance between a patriarchal and a matriarchal society. And the divine feminine is very much a teaching of healing, of intimacy. We can call it sacred sexuality, divinity, but it also is working with the raising of the consciousness that happens through prayer, ceremony, meditation, a lot of things that were very much ridiculed in the patriarchal age. Ridiculed, abolished, banned, discredited, heavily belittled and attacked. And now that's going to be utilized as it is evolutionary necessity for humanity to develop its consciousness, to be able to sort of override timelines and possibilities for a future projection that can be quite destructive with warlike tendencies, but also destructive when it comes to lack of integrity, when it comes to emotional and spiritual immaturity that leads to basically the lack of resources or lack of resourcefulness, sort of lack of being conservative, of sort of poverty consciousness that kind of breeds chaos and desperation and a low intelligence. So with the divine feminine sort of leading a path of raising consciousness, the meditation, the prayer, the ceremony that was heavily attacked and discredited will now begin to be sort of headway and sort of shaping the timelines and projections that so many people are curious about, like a projection of like 2050, like 10 billion people on this planet, you know, projections for when the economy will collapse, when a country may completely go under war. But so many of those projections and timelines are so much shifting is going on with that, because the more that we step into our emotional and spiritual maturity, the more that we can override these timelines that have to do with chaos or destruction, or have to do with something that involves more of a timeline of human lack of resourcefulness, or human lack of compassion, or a human lack of integrity. So through the Divine Feminine, we can uphold a higher frequency and begin to integrate a completely new vocabulary, completely new economy, completely new craftsmanship, and sort of a creative ingenuity that will establish a whole new leadership that is very different from the patriarchal, dark age, medieval age sort of leadership that will have more of a balance between, we think of the rational scientific mind that can be very stubborn and very fixed, as we've seen in the sort of academia, but also have a sort of flexibility and openness and a willingness to kind of view things from even a spiritual yet sort of metaphysical approach at kind of interpreting very complex and expansive ideas.